Hi everyone. So welcome another day. This time for the ankles related to the mind, the week of the mind in the month of Libra. So we have only one day left to end up with the mind week. I felt like this week was like very fast. So before we start, I just wanted to tell all of you, those who are joining us for the first time, that if you have any questions, any doubts, or anything about what we are doing and so on, you can go to the blog, which is yosoy.red. Yo soy is I am in Spanish, and red doesn't mean the color red, it means network in Spanish. So look for that, and there you will have all information of everything that you need to know to know what we're doing. Today, when I was in the pyramid, the information that was shown was about meaning and nonsense, so sense and no sense. So this concept, I wrote about this concept in the blog, but as always, I will try to make a summary of this topic so we could all be in the same page while doing the alignment. For sure, you have felt through your life, and maybe in this moment, the feeling of nonsense, that nothing have sense. It's like not only the spiritual things that we are doing every day, but also our life, like job, friends, life, society, anything. And suddenly, when I go deeper into acknowledging the universe and how it works, suddenly everything has even less meaning. Like nothing really has a meaning. So suddenly, what we do is to think that anything we do in our life is really real, and that we usually, when we get into know the universe and we know that kind of anything really exists, suddenly we say, so what is the purpose of everything? Why do we do what we do if nothing have really meaning, and you feel like a void? Some of you maybe know this process like the darkness of the soul. Maybe you have heard that sentence, that name someday before. But the thing is that there are many moments, and each one of these moments are different, in which we kind of feel this nonsense of reality. In these different moments, one of the first ones that we may feel is the one that when we work in our lives, and suddenly we try to do everything as the society is telling for us to do, and to earn for some holidays, and to try to put the family together, and to try to be as everyone says that is better to be. So suddenly we stop and say, wait a moment, what is the meaning of this? What is the point of all this? And suddenly you realize that life, as you were living it, has no meaning. So sometimes we just stop living that life and we start to seek for our dreams to give a new meaning to our lives and trying to give a purpose to it, a different idea of what life means. So that is the moment when I recognize myself capable to live my dreams or to live different realities in the world, not the ones that I've been set to. So imagine that when you achieve the limits of whatever you can do in the world and to accomplish your dreams, suddenly the question comes up again, like, the meaning of this? What am I doing? What is the point? So suddenly you realize that everything that was outside was just a projection of within. So suddenly you realize that the meaning that everything has in the outside is the meaning that I give to it. So if there is no meaning in the outside, that means that I am not given a meaning, that I don't have a meaning. So I go within. I go to look for my inner aspect to find a meaning within myself. So there comes the time of spirituality, philosophy, the seek of new points, new meanings. So there is a moment when I ask myself, oh, now everything has meaning, but because I got a meaning. But suddenly you may say, if I am the one giving the meaning, so who I am? And when you start to look for the meaning of who you are, you start to feel everything, like multidimensional beings, the other lives, everything that gives a meaning to what you are now. All the masters, the different realities, everything beyond this, what you know. and suddenly you give a meaning to everything because of that. Suddenly you recognize that all of that that gave meaning to you doesn't exist. And suddenly all of that was just a projection from yourself, from a bigger mind that you call I am. So suddenly you realize that is that I am the creator. So you say, oh, yes, now I got the new meaning. Is I am the creator. I am the one creating all that. So suddenly one day I recognized that not even me is real, because I was thinking that it's me, the one creating, believing, and creating everything. Suddenly I realized, no, it's not me. There's no I am me, because I am just another projection from a concept that was I am. I am is a concept, it's not the person. So suddenly you realize that you are another projection from I am. So suddenly you lose the meaning of everything. Everything is pointless. And suddenly you realize that the only thing existing is a concept, is only one thing that I call unity. And suddenly when I find the meaning of what is unity, I am trying to touch unity, and suddenly I find the void, the vacuum, and everything loses meaning. So suddenly there is no other thing but to give a meaning to the void. So, what is the meaning of void? Is the capacity to create meaning. So, what is the point of all this? That we have spent our entire lives trying to find the meaning of things. But always, at the moment when you find the meaning of something, there will come another thing that will erase the sense of the previous concept, saying that it doesn't have any meaning. So basically, here comes the question. So what is the meaning of all this? Why do we do all this? What is the meaning? So I'm sorry, but I guess that this is the answer. So maybe this is one of the most difficult things that a mind needs to process in order to understand this. So the truth is that there is no sense. So basically, the reason why there is no sense, that everything is no sense in the reality, is because senses are the basis of our existence through the 5 senses that we have. And our 5 senses are trying to fit the ideas of the world in a specific moment and in a specific time. Let's try to make an exercise to understand this. Basically, the brain, the mind, designs the brain in order to be able to receive the information of the entire world from the outside through electrical pulses. So through all the nerves in our body, we receive the electric pulses to get the information. So basically, what the senses are doing is to design like kind of a map of the environment we are moving through. So basically, what the senses are doing by smell, hearing, sound, touch, and taste, the 5 senses, what they are doing is to make an interpretation of the environment, so we could create like a maze in our mind, like a map where our consciousness could go and find the specific points, locations inside a specific time and a specific space. So basically, we have to picture like a invisible mind that is creating positive and negative pulses of energy that sends data, information from the feeling, and by that starts to create a map where the mind could move through. So this is why to all this map of the mind we call the sense or the meaning. So the reason why we call the sense is because it was created by the brain, like mapping the reality to know where you are moving through. So basically, in English, meaning, to give a meaning to something, comes from the word mean, that comes from the word mens, that means specifically mind. Okay, so this is why meaning is only related with the perception of mind. What this means, that all the meanings that we give to anything in our reality, in our lives, is only based in the perceptions of the mind of the outer world. So this is why each human has a different meaning of life. Basically, any meaning that we want to give to the existence will be determined of how we feel existence. That if we are willing to find a more accurate meaning to everything, what we have to do is to find how to clean and to work precisely. To work precisely with our five senses. So this is why it's so important, the five senses, since the moment we are born. We need to learn how to feel them, how to interpret them, how to use them. Before anything else, we need to learn how to use properly our five senses, because they will determine how we feel the world. So once we know how to handle properly the five senses of our reality, suddenly we have to open ourselves to the senses of the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and we start to perceive more and more senses in different realities. As much more senses we achieve from our multidimensional reality, the best we can map the reality, the existence. But the reality that we cannot perceive the truth of the universe just by only our five senses. So this is why we cannot determine the reality, the existence, the logic of the whole universe only through our five senses. Once your mind has mapped the reality and your consciousness has gone through all the different parts of this map, you suddenly go into another level of consciousness. You rise yourself into another perception, no dimensions, but just perceptions of yourself. And suddenly you say, oh, now I got the meaning of all this. So you start a new one. So when you start the new one, suddenly your senses had no idea of this new reality. So you lose the sense of everything, because you have to start again. So here's when we go into another concept. We have built our senses, the map of our reality, through the idea of hierarchies. So the idea of hierarchy is the one that made us believe that in order to reach the divine, we need to go into layers of society or knowledge. Another idea that we have created through the senses is that in order to reach the origin, we have to go in a path towards the horizon. So we have created this concept, this idea of the universe according to in which direction, which path are you taking in life. The sense of transit, okay? So this is why we also have designed the universe according to a path that goes ahead or a hierarchy that takes us up. Also, we have said that if our senses have been able to design a sense, a meaning of reality through mind, so the universe have done exactly the same. The universe is a mind designing a purpose. So let's take the image of something that I wrote a few days ago. Did you remember that the text that I put all the dots, and each dot represented a century, and the few 5 last centuries are the ones with much movement and our history of the last 500 years. So now take this image. If we take the first moment of the first cell in history, how many dots we would have to write until we reach to the 10th century, the one before. So imagine that all our history is just in the last 30 dots, 30 dots of thousands and millions of dots of centuries in the history of reality. Nothing. And the last 500 years. This idea of meaning started, of meaning to everything, started around, I don't know, maybe 100 dots before, if each dot is a century. So from a list of billions of dots representing the centuries, the last 100 dots were the ones in which we have designed the meaning, the purpose, the sense of the universe. So what I want to say with this is that through thousands and billions of years, everything worked, and nobody asked never about meaning. Nobody worried about the meaning until now. So why is it important now? Why everything worked so well, even if nobody have said at any time, this is the meaning of life? Maybe this is complex, but I just want to go to the very last dot of the list. So what I want to say is that the universe isn't something with meaning. The universe is something that is creating meanings. Is the creator of meanings. And it's in that moment when we, humans, appear in this corner of the galaxy. So we are one of those thousands of conscious, intelligent species that design the meaning of the universe. So at any time that the question, but what is the meaning of this, comes after this is, well, If there is no meaning, I am the one that have to give meaning to it. Remember, we cannot put in the same level meaning with reality, because the meaning has emerged in order to understand the reality. So there was no meaning before reality, because meaning, the senses, were designed as tools to understand, to perceive the reality. So this is why when we go to the very beginning and origin of all the things, the last thing that we will find there is meaning. So this is why there's these people that can touch the origin of everything. What they feel is void, vacuum. It's that vacuum that allows them to give the meaning to everything. So this is not a spoiler of the universe. So I am saying all this not as a spoiler of the universe, but as a tool for you. So when you go outside tomorrow to the world and you say, what is this? Your inner self can say, I don't understand this, so I will give it a new meaning. So I hope you got this. And if you didn't got it, if you didn't get it, so it doesn't matter because it has any sense. So let's go to the alignment. The vibration for today is new. The statement for today is, I am destiny of all tests. So this is referring to the test that we receive in the known sense each time that we feel it. The code for today is the physical pattern Ha. It says, by acknowledging this temple, the body, it can be analyzed. The planes unfolded and take notice of its construction. The study, analysis, research make it acknowledge itself as the architect of its own reality, being able to transform its walls, chambers, altars according to its needs, improving matter, acting in the creator conscience from matter. He is the sound of realization, of the planification of bringing heaven to earth. Start to sit comfortable. I let the weight of my body fall down. Take a deep breath. And perceive the air coming in through the nose towards the lungs, heart, blood, organs and muscles. I perceive how within me, my body starts to feel void, empty, as the air becomes wind, blowing inside, making me feel light as a feather. I perceive the air around me becoming wind, turning into one with the wind inside of me. I picture myself on the top of a mountain, at the edge of it, observing below a beautiful valley and an astonishing sightseeing. I start to perceive the wind coming from the valley, crossing all my body, feet, legs, hip, hands and arms, belly and chest, shoulders, throat, neck, head, and hair. Take a deep breath and put your hands facing up to the sky. I call the energy of the sun to come through my body, a body that is now in its axis, still, firm here and now. I perceive the light coming through my crown, third eye, throat, heart, plexus, sacrum, root, knees, and ankles, spreading through my feet. Take a deep breath and feel two rays of light coming from the feet, from each one of them, to the palms of your hand. Feel the light filling the palms as they start to feel heavy, as if the light becomes physical. In one hand, I hold the meaning, the sense of everything in my life, and in the other one, I hold the nonsense, the meaningless concepts of existence. I become aware that the meaning of my life, the sense of it, is the one that I give to my life. And in the other hand, the known sense of my life, of existence, is that I have to remind myself that it's me, the only one, capable to give a meaning to it. So, As I take my hands to my chest, in my heart, with my sound, I start to unify these two concepts as one within me. I recognize that every test that I have gone through in my life has given the meaning to my life. And the great test is to go beyond the nonsense, to find a new one. Take a deep breath, becoming aware in the center of your body that I'm the only one capable to give a meaning to everything in my life. For I am the destiny of all the tests. I am the destiny of all tests. I am the destiny of all tests. Take a deep breath. And I begin to spread this awareness through all my body by caressing it, stretching and yawning. And I come back here and now, softly opening my eyes. So, remember that the task for today is to manifest in a way, in a creative way, what is the meaning and meaningless for us. So as always, thank you for being there, and see you tomorrow at the same time for the Taurus. Rest. Bye.